Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola, liyo liyo besimcha. Siva gedola. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Give a smile, give a smile. Be the reason someone smiles. give a Schmeichel, give a Schmeichel, give a smile. Give a Schmeichel, give a Schmeichel, be the reason someone smile. Give a Schmeichel, give a Schmeichel, give a Schmeichel, give a smile. Give a Schmeichel, give a Schmeichel, be the reason someone smile. Siva, Gedola, Leo, Leo, Simcha. Siva, Gedola, Leo, Leo, Simcha. Siva, Gedola, Leo, Leo, Simcha. Siva, Gedola, Leo, Simcha. Siva, Gedola, Leo, Leo, Simcha. Siva, Gedola, Leo, Leo, Simcha. Siva, Gedola.
Breakfast with Elli.
Mode ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam shechezarta bi nishmati bechemla rabba emunatecha.
Maranan, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Bayrei pri hagafei. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Bayrei min evsamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Bayrei moirei ha'esh.
No yamavdil ben kodesh lechol.
Good morning and welcome to Breakfast with Elli on this Sunday, the 19th day of May, the 11th day of Iyar, Yud Aleph Iyar. The Torah portion is Behar. Again, Behar b'chukosai is broken up because of our leap year. HaYom Yom Rishon l'Shabbos. First day counting up towards Shabbos, we're learning the first Aliyah. Good morning, how are you? Shavua Tov, good week, good vach. I hope that Hashem gives you everything that you need for the week to come and a little bit of what you want, and that your Shabbat was absolutely, marvelously, wonderfully amazing. All right. Lots to do today. Lots to do. So let's get going. Today is bingo. We're going to bingo today. I know. I am as excited as you are. That's right. We're going to bingo. We're going to bingo. I know. Yeah, it's kind of exciting. All right, so let's get this show on the road. And men and boys, please take your two front sitters. Let's make a bracha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mitzvat tzitzit.
All right, fantastic. And now everyone together say Al Divrei Torah, please.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al divrei Torah.
All right, let's accept upon ourselves the mitzvahs. All right, so that's not working. Okay, let's do it again.
הריני מקבל עלי מצוות עשה של ואהבת לרעך כמוך. I take upon myself every single day to love my fellow friend in a very special way.
All right, Torah Tziva is up next.
Torah ציווה לנו משה מורשה קהילת יעקב. תורה ציווה לנו משה מורשה קהילת יעקב.
Right, fantastic. And now it's time for us to give some tzedakah.
I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki for someone else to keep. Yeah, I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki for someone else in need.
All right, fantastic. And that brings us to the saying of the Shema. All right, are you ready? Let's take our right hand and put it over our eyes, please, as we say the Shema.
Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad.
Shahakal niyeh b'dvoroi, shahakal niyeh b'dvoroi.
Having a problem here. All right, there we go. And that takes us to the breakfast time. Yeah, the breakfast time. All right, coffee, yogurt. What else could I possibly have? Are you ready to make a bracha shahakol? Let's do it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shahakol nihiyah bidvaroi.
Coffee, blessed coffee. God bless you for being a friend. When the whole world turns on me, it's only you on which I can depend. I want to taste you in the morning and a few times throughout the day. Yes, a cup or two in the evening too. For me, it's the only way. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There you have it. All right, fantastic. Let's go to Sfirat HaOmer.
49 days to count the Omer. After it's dark, Mark. At the end
We're
of
on
my
day
read, Steve.
26.
Do it in shul, shmuel.
Counted
Just
26
count with
last
me.
night. So let's
Look for
go.
the stars, Tamar.
Facebook.
Just be sure to make the bracha. Erev is the key, Tzvi. Count sphere with me.
HaYom shisho ve'esrim yom Shem shloisho shavuos V'chamisho yomim bo'emer.
I'll be quite honest, I don't know what song he was singing. If you do, let me know. Today in Jewish history. All right. In 1500, Jewish books were confiscated in Frankfurt am Main, Germany, at the instigation of an apostate, a Meshuman, on the 11th day of Iyar. Riots in Vasilkov and Konotop in 1881, as the riots and pogroms continued to escalate in Russia. It broke out on the 11th day of Iyar that the Jews were blamed for the assassination of Tsar Alexander II, who was assassinated by revolutionaries. The riots continued for 3 years across the entire Russia. And the Battle of Degania, the Israeli army defeated the advancing Syrian army following the shelling at the entrance of Degania in 1948, which began at sunrise and lasted 9 hours. It's considered the first Israeli victory following the start of the War of Independence. Today is the yahrzeit of Reb Naftali of Ropshitz, a leading disciple of the Chose of Lublin, the seer of Lublin. He was one of the prominent rebbes in Galicia during the early 19th century. He passed away on the 11th of Iyar in 1827. The first printed edition of the Mishnayos with the commentary of the Rambam was published in Naples in 1492. And in 1789, the Judenordnung provided for the abolition of discriminatory laws enacted against the Jews of Galicia in 1789. Golda Mabovich, who changed her name to Golda Meir, was born in Kiev on this date in 1898. Her family emigrated to the United States in 1906, settling in Milwaukee. She married Morris Meyerson, there you get the Meir from, and in 1921, they immigrated to Israel, eventually settling in Kibbutz Merchavia. In 1928, they moved to Tel Aviv. When Prime Minister Levi Eshkol died of a heart attack on February 28, 1969, Golda Meir came out of retirement to become Israel's 4th Prime Minister. She passed away in 1978. All right. That is so cool to know. All right. And that takes us to HaYom for today.
היום הזה הוא זמן שמחתנו, שמע את התפילה שבליבנו, ותמחול את כל
Many great synagogues are built, designed to inspire awe and reverence. But sometimes the high ceilings and tremendous architecture and very formal proceedings can have an almost chilling effect, in the sense that it leaves you feeling distant and removed. Perhaps that's why the Hasidic model of a shul, like a small shtibel, has become more popular. People enjoy the closeness, the warmth that they feel in that type of atmosphere. But in all fairness, a balanced, proper davening should have both aspects. There should be an element of awe and an element of love. Today's HaYom lists a number of nuances, pointers of how to properly articulate specific words in davening, in our prayers. One of those pointers are the following words: Umalchusoi. The sovereignty of Hashem is forever. Hashem is king and all-powerful forever. But that's not all. It's not just Malchusoi, it's also Ve'emunasoi. Hashem's faithfulness is also forever. So Hashem is eternally powerful. That's one important aspect in terms of our attitude when we stand before Hashem in davening, to recognize that Hashem is eternally powerful. He's the king. But at the same time, we recognize the fact that Hashem is also eternally faithful and loving.
And you don't have to know any more than that. That's all you need to get through a day. Right? A word from our sponsors.
And now, a word from our sponsors. PestProRidol.com.
PestProRidol.com. Trusted by the best to keep away the pests. We are offering COVID-19 disinfection services. Mention this ad and get 1 month free service. Visit us at PestProRidol.com.
Tarzane Group. Micro, miniature, and small orchids. Go to tarzanegroup.com or call Tomas at 305-440-0565. That's 305-440-0565 and order today. Visit Tomas and Yair at tarzanegroup.com. Micro, miniature, and small orchids. Beautiful in your home. Go to the website and read Tomas's orchid blog. And by Dina D Design. DinaDDesign@gmail.com. Fine artwork, custom made to your specifications, logos, wall hangings, Judaica, and you can even have something for your child's room. Dina D Designs. Go to her Facebook or Instagram or call or text. Thank you very much to our sponsors. If you'd like to become a sponsor, please go right up here to where it says patreon.com/theactorsrabbi, and you can contribute even only $1 a month if you'd like, but that'll help us bring this broadcast to you on a daily basis and cover our expenses. Be sure to thank your sponsors when shopping and mention Breakfast with Elli when you're shopping there. There might be discounts. Thanks for watching.
Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe.
All right, come be a sponsor. Go to patreon.com/theactorsrabbi or breakfastwithelli.live/tipjar and join us today. All right, breakfastwithelli.live/new computer is what I meant to say. Tipjar works too, but new computer is our campaign to get that brand new computer. Vayedaber Hashem el Moshe Behar Sinai Lemor, that Hashem spoke to Moses on the mountain, referring to Mount Sinai, at the site of the giving of the Torah. Right? The word Behar means on the mountain. The Medrash says that Hashem chose to give the Torah on Mount Sinai since it is the smallest of mountains, suggesting humility. However, this begs the question, if Hashem wanted to give the Torah in a place that's indicative of humility, surely a valley would have been more appropriate. Admittedly, Sinai is the smallest of mountains, but ultimately, it's still a mountain, which is hardly suggestive of lowliness and humility. Furthermore, our Parsha became known by the name Behar, on the mountain, even without the clarification that it is Mount Sinai, the smallest of mountains. Surely, the name on the mountain alone has lost any connection to humility at all. The need for humility in the service of Hashem varies according to one's level of knowledge and spiritual growth. Generally speaking, a person might fall under one of three categories. One is either a beginner in the study and practice of Judaism, who has not yet trained his mindset and personality to be in harmony with the values of Judaism. So at this stage, any traces of ego would prove totally counterproductive to their spiritual growth, because your ego would serve to strengthen the unrefined personality. The second category, intermediate. Here, the person has considerably refined their personality to adhere to Jewish values and acquired much knowledge. Therefore, while humility is still the dominant feature of his personality, it may prove necessary on occasion for the ego to come out, to protect the interests of Judaism in general and the person themselves as an observant Torah Jew in particular. Nevertheless, this ego should be carefully tempered with humility to prevent it from leading to arrogance or selfishness. And then the third level is advanced. If a person has totally transformed their mind and body to want only the values of Judaism, then the ego no longer possesses a threat to their relationship with Hashem. So, thus, by exercising this ego, you only reinforce and strengthen a personality which is totally dedicated to Torah. And that, the Rabbi explains, is why our Parsha is called Behar, on the mountain, without the clarification that it is Mount Sinai, a small mountain. The Torah is teaching us that every single one of us is capable of becoming a spiritual giant whose personality is so holy that it does not need to be restrained with humility. Quick and deep words. I love them. Absolutely, absolutely love them. All right. In the first Aliyah, Hashem commands Moshe regarding the sabbatical and jubilee years, Shemitah and Yovel. Every seventh year is Shemitah, a sabbatical year, when it's forbidden to work the land in the land of Israel. And after 7 sets of 7 years, Yovel, a jubilee, proclaim liberty throughout the land, is proclaimed by a blast of the shofar on that year's Yom Kippur. During Yovel, all the laws of the sabbatical year apply. In addition to the sabbatical laws, all slaves are set free and all lands revert to their original owners. I know, it's such an interesting law. Let's see if we can get Rabbi let's see if we can get the Holy Rabbi Aftzin to explain it more to us. Let's go. Fantastic. And that takes us to Parsha Points. Parsha with Rabbi Epstein. Sorry about that overlap. It just got a little in the way. Here we go. Parsha Points.
Parsha Points, Behar for Sunday. Life often feels like a mishmash of unrelated tasks, an endless to-do list of chores. When do we get to the meaningful part? What does Shemitah have to do with Sinai? What does anything have to do with everything? Look closely, follow the process, and you will see that each nuanced detail of your day, each annoyance and project, is part of bringing Sinai, the purpose of your mission, into the world and fulfilling Hashem's plan.
Mission possible. Your mission, should you decide to accept it. All right. Shnayim Yomi for today.
Parshas Behar Rishon. Parshas Behar is a very connected parsha, as the Kliyakar says. The Kliyakar tells us that the parsha is one continuous message of emunah and bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the main part of the parsha starts off with Shemitah, which of course the mitzvah of Shemitah is all about putting your faith and putting your trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the parsha starts off, Vaydaber Hashem al Moshe Behar Sinai Lemar, and everyone knows the famous Rashi. Rashi tells us that Ma'inyan Shemitah Eitzel Har Sinai. Why is it that the mitzvah of Shemitah talks specifically about Har Sinai, to teach you that just like Shemitah, Rashi says, was taught in Har Sinai, so too all the mitzvahs were on Har Sinai. The Chassam Sofer explains, why is it that Shemitah is that mitzvah that we choose to teach about, that it was on Har Sinai, and that's supposed to give us a lesson to all other mitzvahs. And he says, Shemitah makes no sense. Why would we do such a thing? Why would Moshe Rabbeinu, if Yiddishkeit, if the Torah was not emes, if it was not given from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then who would ever put themselves at risk and take such a risk of telling you to leave your field for a year and expect that, like the parsha is going to tell us, that 3 years you'll have enough for all 3 years. During the 6th year, Hashem will bless that it'll be enough for 3 years. Who would ever take such a risk? That is the biggest proof that the Torah tells you to take off a year and not plant your field. That is the biggest proof that Torah is Misinai, and that's why it's Ma'elu Misinai, Ma'Shmita. Just like Shemitah was given on our Sinai, so too we know from Shemitah, the Chassam Sofer says, that all other mitzvahs were also given on Har Sinai.
Hebrew is a very unique language. There could be multiple words that are seemingly not related, but share the same root. If you search hard enough, then you could find a connection between these words, which would explain why they share the same root. The great commentator Rashi says all Jews are guarantors one for another. Now, the Hebrew word for guarantor, Arev, could also mean two other things. Arev could mean mixed, and it could also mean sweet. Now, these three words are seemingly unrelated, but in fact, there is a deep connection between them. Guarantor, mixed, and sweet. Why are Jews guarantors and responsible for one another? It's because we're mixed with each other and we're integrated with each other. So like many different body parts, Jewish people are all so different, but in the end, we're all parts of the same body. And pain in one part of the body has an effect and is felt in the entire body. Last week, the Jewish people suffered an unfathomable tragedy with the loss of 45 precious lives. Exile, discussed in this week's Torah portion, is painful and challenging. Times could be tough. We don't understand. But within the suffering and the pain, we could search for some sweetness. It's especially during these times that we realize how connected and how integrated we all are. We're responsible for each other because we really are one body and one soul. This is the sweetness that could be found in difficult times. But we've gone through enough as a people. It's time that we could enjoy and appreciate the connection that we all share, the responsibility that we all share in good times as well.
All right. That is really cool. Yes. And you know what? Let's do some deep learning today with Rabbi Dubov. I think we have time for that.
I'd like to share with you this week's Parsha Behar, something very nice from the Rebbe's father, Rabbi Yitzchak Zatzal. This week's Parsha speaks all about the laws that land should always belong to its original owner. And it says, Ubechoil eretz achuzaschem, all the land that you will dwell in, you will inherit. Geula titnu ba'aretz, a redemption you should give to the land. Says Rabbi Yitzchak in this words, Geula titnu, you should give. You should give a redemption to the land, is hinting the service that every single Jew has to Hashem. Hashem created the world. But then he created the world in a way where it's concealed the godliness. Our job is to return the land to Hashem, to its original owner, which means that we should reveal the truth, the godliness that's in the world, that's here from Hashem. So we bring it back to its original owner. Says now Rabbi Yitzchak, a phenomenal remez, a hint in Gematria, which he was so famous of. It says in Chassidus that there's many names to Hashem. So when you have Keil Havaya, like it says in Tehillim, Keil Hashem Vayor Elonu, Keil God, when he uses the name Yud Kei Vovki, that's revelation, Vayor, there's Or, there's light. When there is Keil Adnai, Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, that Rebbe says in Tanya, Adnai means God when he's like a ruler. A ruler means when there's a separation from the master, so to say, to the servants. That's like when there's a spiritual separation, and it shows how a godliness comes into this world in a concealed way. And our job is, as we said before, to reveal the godliness. Now, an interesting thing that it explains in Chassidus. Every single letter that you have in the Aleph base, you have the letter itself, and then you have how you verbalize the letter, as we spoke many times. Take, for example, an Aleph. If you think about a letter Aleph, I picture the strokes and how the design of the Aleph is. When you say it verbally, all of a sudden you say Aleph Lamed Pei comes out. So you have three letters, Aleph Lamed Pei. So the Lamed Pei was like concealed in the Aleph. Explains the Chassidus that those letters that are hidden, that's similar to Hashem, that's hidden in this world. So when you reveal the letters in the open, then it's as if you are revealing the hidden into the open. In other words, you're bringing out God into the world. Now look at the interesting thing Rabbi Yitzchak says, and you understand the words in the pasuk. We have over here the name Keil Adnai, Aleph Lamed, Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, how Hashem comes into the world in a concealed form. says if you take all these letters and you also add up the numerical value of how much you verbalize the letters, in other words, you reveal all the hidden letters of all those of the name Kel Adnai, and we'll do it together. Very simple. You have Kel, Aleph Lamed. So when, if you, the letter Aleph is 111. Aleph Lamed Pei. Lamed Mem Daled is 74. Together I have 185. So the name Kel, when I reveal it, called Milui like, that's the name in the, I reveal the letters, I add it up, that adds up to 185. Now I take the name Adnai, where Hashem comes in the concealed way, the God that comes in the concealed way. Aleph again, 111. Dalet Lamed Yutaf, 434. Nun Vav Nun, 106. Then the last letter Yud Vav Dalet, 20. Add up all these numbers together. So Kayla had 185 plus 111 plus 434 for the Dalet plus 106 for the Nun plus 20 for the Yud. I will add, it will come out exactly to 856. So the Kel Adnai, when I add up with all the letters of the Milah, how I verbalize it, 886. 886, says Rabbi Levi Yitzchak, adds up to exactly to the word Titnu. Tov Nun Vav is 886. Now here's the meaning of the word Geula. Every Jew has to bring godliness into the world. What do? I reveal all the hidden letters from Kel Adnai, which means I reveal the godliness that's hidden into the world. And then what do I have? Titnu. You'll be able to bring godliness, and you'll be able to bring this. You'll give to the world the godliness that it deserves. You reveal the essence of the world, and then the Eretz, the land, will have Geula, it will have redemption. We will have the revelation of the godliness into the world, as we say in davening, Hashem Echad Shema Echad. That when godliness will come, then there won't be any more concealment. It will be all revelation of Hashem, and that's the hidden meaning. Begematria, Geula, bring a redemption. How do I bring the redemption? Titnu. Look at the numerical value of the word Titnu. 886, reveal the letters of Kel Adnai, where godliness comes in the concealed form, and your job is to reveal it to Torah and mitzvahs, and then you will bring the revelation, and you will have the redemption. Geula Titnu Ba'aretz. A wonderful, beautiful remez.
There you have it.
Amiras Tehillim, the Al Yidei, Amiras Tehillim, Tisoyre Chavateles HaShoroin.
All right, we are so excited to be able to have Tehillim today. Chapters 23 and 123. Let's say it together.
Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai Ro'i, Lo Echsar, Binus Teshe, Yarbitzeni, Al Menuchos Yinahaleni, Nafshi Shovev, Yancheni V'Magle Tzedek, Leman Shemo, Kam Kilech Begetz Al Moves, Lo Yirara, Ki Ata Imadi, Shivtecha Mishantecha, Hema Yenachamuni, Taroch Lefanai, Shulchan, Neged Torerai, Tishanta Vashem Roshi, Kosir Vaya, Ach, Tova Chesed Yirdefuni, Kol Yemei Chayai, Veshavti Bevis Adonai, Leorech Yamim.
Shiramalek Zvelech on the Sosi Yasainai, Yeshiva Shamoyim, Hinechiyene, Avodim, Yad Adinayim, Kiyene, Shiv Choyad Vito, Kaine, Aladinai, Elayenu, Ad, Shayim Chanenu, Chanenu, Adoinoi, Chanenu, Kirav, Sav, Ainu, Rav, Tova, Matreinu, Halak, Hashanyanim,
know it. Tanya, here we go.
Tanya thoughts for the 11th of Iyar. What does it mean to be holy? Tanya explains it's not about how virtuous I am, how dedicated I am. It's not at all about what I do. It's about who I do it for. When I do a mitzvah, little old me, I become Hashem's. I'm His. That's why I get off my recliner to do the mitzvah, because I'm His. Just like the great tzaddikim, I am His. That's what holiness means.
Let's talk Tanya for the 11th of Iyar of a leap year. Today we start chapter 48. In the last two chapters, we spoke about reflective love, contemplating God's love for us in order to arrive at a love back for Him. And the contemplation that the Alter Rebbe focused on specifically was Yetzias Mitzrayim, the going out of Egypt, or God taking us out of Egypt. In the next two chapters, chapters 48 to 49, we're also going to be talking about reflective love, but now we're going to shift our focus, and now we're going to be talking about the process of creation. This chapter, and the next few segments of Tanya, is going to be describing simply the process of creation, what had to happen spiritually speaking in order for creation to emerge. And then in the next chapter, chapter 49, we're going to take all that information and we're going to figure out how to use it in order to be able to arrive at a love for God. When we're talking about creation, the Kabbalists talk about the process called tzimtzum. Tzimtzum means contraction. God had to contract His light in order to allow for creation. Why is tzimtzum necessary? Why is contraction necessary? In this world, if we want to come up with a new product, you want something new to emerge, so that always requires some sort of process, some sort of cause and effect. So a seed becomes a tree, which leads to you having the apple, which leads you to having applesauce. Throw a few chemicals together and something else entirely will emerge. But ultimately, this is always cause and effect, and there's always a relationship between the cause and the effect. The world and all of creation, not only our world, but all of creation, even the higher spiritual worlds, none of that can be a product of any process which starts with the infinite light of God. And why is that? Because the infinite light of God is infinite. And our world and all of creation is finite. Now, no matter what kind of process you're going to have, no matter what kind of evolution or devolution you're going to have, ultimately, there is no process that will lead from a place of absolute infinity to something which is finite. So therefore, in order to allow for creation to emerge, we needed to have this huge contraction, which means, and obviously this is on a metaphorical level, but God had to remove His light, actually push all that infinite light to the side to allow for creation to emerge. Now, once we have that tzimtzum, once we have that contraction, what's next? What emerges from that contraction? We'll find that out, God willing, in tomorrow's Let's Talk Tanya.
There you go. Beautiful stuff. All right. And that takes us to Shavuos stuff.
Hashem gave us a present. Do you know what it was? He gave us the Torah and we must keep its laws.
One day, a very successful businessman from Australia was asked by a journalist, "How are you so successful? How do you manage your time? Can you tell us a little how you start your day?" The businessman answered, "Look, I'm an observant Jew, so every morning I start my day with prayer. And after the prayer, I study Torah with my rabbi for 2 hours. And then at 9:30 a.m., I head on to work." The journalist was dumbfounded. "What do you mean? How can you manage a successful business starting your day at 9:30? Don't you worry? Don't you answer phone calls during that time?" The businessman answered, "Absolutely not. At 9:45, when I get to my office, I listen to the messages. Mr. Jack, a pump broke and we have a big leak. This is a message from 8:30. 8:45, Mr. Jack, it's an emergency, call us. At 9 a.m., Mr. Jack, we were able to locate the company. They'll be on their way in the next 15 minutes to resolve the problem. You see, I could think that I'm God and I'm going to resolve all the problems of the world. Or just connect myself to my source, to God, and let Him figure it out. We're coming to the holiday of Shavuot. The holiday of Shavuot is the day that we received the Torah, the day that made the Jewish nation who we are. This is a good time for every single one of us to renew our connection to the study of Torah. Whatever you want to study in Torah, do it, but do it on a daily basis. The Zohar teaches us that the mitzvot, the good deeds a person does, are like garments to the soul. The Torah that you study is like food to the soul. It's time for us to nurture and to nourish our souls and our minds with godly knowledge. Happy Shavuot. Nurture and to nourish our souls and our minds with godly knowledge.
No, it's not impossible that ever did say. Just study Rambam each and every day. I'll never miss my daily Rambam.
Baruch Hashem, today is day number 54 of our daily study of Rambam Sefer Mitzvahs. And in the 3 chapters a day of Mishnah Torah, we are still in the laws of Chametz Umatzah. We just began that yesterday, actually. We just did the first chapter yesterday. So now today we're doing chapters 2, 3, and 4 of the laws of Chametz Umatzah. So correspondingly, we have 4 mitzvahs today, all corresponding to the idea of leaven and the prohibition thereof on Pesach. Okay. Positive commandment 156 is the positive commandment to get rid of the chametz, to destroy it, to eradicate it, get it out of there, get it out of your houses. Okay. That's a positive commandment. Negative commandment 197 is the prohibition against consuming chametz. Don't eat it. Don't eat it. Okay. Negative commandment 198 is the prohibition against eating a mixture of chametz. Not chametz itself, but what the Torah calls kol machmetzes loy seichelu. Don't eat anything that is machmetzes. Machmetzes means it itself is not chametz, but it has chametz ingredients in it. What would be an example of that? Beer. I mean, beer is not a loaf of bread. It's not a cracker. It's not a pretzel. But that's an example. And then there's some other examples that are harder to relate to. The Gemara speaks about, like kutach habavli. Where can a guy get a good kutach habavli around here? Get back to me if you find out. Okay. And that is it. Yeah, those are our mitzvahs today. And we're going to continue with the laws of Chametz Umatzah, God willing, tomorrow. And we'll have more mitzvahs on that subject as well. We'll see you tomorrow, God willing.
Continuing the list of mitzvahs that apply specially to Pesach, we move to positive mitzvah number 156. And this is the mitzvah that on the 14th day of Nisan, the eve of Passover, we are to actively destroy the chametz that's in our possession. Primarily, this is done today through burning the chametz. We also have negative mitzvah number 197, and that is the prohibition that all throughout Pesach, those 7 or 8 days, depending where you live, we're not allowed to eat chametz. And a special mitzvah, negative mitzvah number 198, not to eat anything that has chametz mixed into it. So not only the actual chametz, but even mixtures are prohibited on Pesach.
So concise. All right. Matters of Mashiach.
והוא משיח צדקנו, הרבי מלובביץ' מלך המשיח, הרבי מלובביץ'.
Yud Aleph Iyar, the 11th day of Iyar. The Rambam writes that a king will arise from the house of David who diligently fulfills the Torah and observes its mitzvahs as prescribed by the oral law and the written law, as David his ancestor will compel all of Israel to walk in the ways of Torah, rectify the breaches of its observance, fight the wars of Hashem, then we may with assurance consider him Mashiach. If he succeeds in the above, builds the temple in its place, gathers the Sheres Yisrael, the dispersed of Israel, then he is definitely the Mashiach. He will then improve the entire world, motivating all the nations to serve Hashem together. Although the details of Mashiach are not clear, the stages listed by the Rambam are precise as a matter of Torah law. The final redemption must begin by strengthening in Torah and mitzvahs among the Jewish people, and then by spreading its teachings to the world, which is what the definition of the wars of Hashem are. Only after and through this will the temple be rebuilt, and only after that will all the Jews be gathered from exile. Ultimately, the rest of the world will be perfected. Although Mashiach includes many political and social changes, these can only be considered a part of the redemption when they are founded on Torah and mitzvos. Absolutely. And that takes us to our PSAs. Soup Kitchen and Food Pantry, available by texting the word food to 726-879. 7 days worth of pantry food and hot meals every single day in Flatbush, Borough Park, and Queens. In Rockland County, if you live up that way, it's tomcheishabbos.org. In Lakewood, it's tomchei.org. In Chicago, it's the Chicago Central Kitchen at breakfastwithelli.live. It's tomcheishabbos.org. And our national list at breakfastwithelli.live / it's the Kitchen. Tomchei Shabbos in Bergen County is available by calling 201 and our national 530-5096. All right. County is available by 5096-0153. All right. Achiezer.org is available 24/7, 365. A beautiful organization that helps you with a wide range of programs and services. Call them today or go to their website at achiezer.org. Just one Shabbos dedicated to bringing the lost youth back to the beauty of keeping Shabbos one Shabbos at a time. And as we know, it only takes one. If you are, God forbid, a crime in progress, you've got to call 911 immediately. Do not hesitate. Do not wait. Even on Shabbos, even on Yom Tov, they're the people to call. And in times of another type of emergency, call Hatzalah. And you can get Hatzalah with their Global Assist app. And in times of another type of emergency, the iOS and the Android stores. All right. In times of bereavement, you've got Miss Askim. Miss Askim can help you out. They can handle everything from A to Z. All right. All right. And when you're out and about, please wear a mask. We're still in flu season.
Wear a mask. Is this really much to ask? Tie some fabric around your face. Oh, it's the simplest of tasks. At the gym, at the store. Don't treat it like such a chore.
Perfect for going to bingo. Oh, guess what? I'm going to bingo. Right. All right. And please don't forget to get your vaccinations and your booster shots, and let us bring some heaven down to earth. So is it fair? Is it worth the risk to send a pure and innocent soul below and tie her destiny to that of this harsh world? In truth, there is precedent even to this archetype of the soul, and that's the very creation of all being. An unbounded creator could have created the world in any manner that he decided. But he chose that in this act of creation, he would invest his very essence and being in each thing he would be found. All of him. He would suffer the pain of his creatures. He would rejoice in their gladness. He'd be lost in their confusion as he'd be found in their beauty. He'd be imprisoned in the cold, hard cells of their hearts as he would be redeemed in the warm pulse of their love and joy. He'd lock himself into his own creation, and he would not come out of his cell until his creatures would redeem him from there. And that's why there's hope for the soul. And that's why it's not only fair, it's well worth the pain. Because no matter where she goes, the soul has never left her beloved. They're in this together. More on this on Monday, God willing. So exciting. All right. Talk about it more on social media, any of the Actors Rabbis groups, at Clubhouse, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, WhatsApp, YouTube, or theactorsrabbi.com.
Baruch ato Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam boirei nefashos rabois v'chesronan al kol ma sheborasa lachayos boem nefesh kol chai baruch chai haolamim.
Yes. Well, we have come to the end of another broadcast day. We have a beautiful video for today, Ba'avur Avotenu, in the merit of our forefathers. A beautiful children's choir rendition, a cappella, of course, as we are still in the days of Sphira. Big week coming up. All right, in this week we have Pesach Sheni. What is Pesach Sheni? Another Pesach? I have to have another Seder? I have to drink another 4 cups of wine? No. Pesach Sheni is that second chance. There was a group of people who complained to Hashem, to Moshe, and then to Hashem that they were tamei, they were impure during the time when the Pesach sacrifice was to be given. So Hashem gave them a second chance 1 month later, 30 days later, to bring the Pesach Sheni, to bring the Paschal sacrifice. And that's what Pesach Sheni is. Always a second chance. Always time to be able to rectify whatever it is that needs being rectified. All right? We'll talk about it. We've got lots to talk about it. We will talk about it coming up tomorrow. All right? All right. Thank you for being here. Thank you to my Patreon sponsors, Pesper Riddle, Tarzay Norkins, Dina D Design, Bracha Biederman, Avi G, Reza Musavi, everyone that has helped out. If you're online and you would like to help out, go to patreon.com/theactorsrabbi, patreon.com/theactorsrabbi, and you can become a sponsor, or just go to breakfastwithelli.live/new if you'd like to contribute anything to our computer campaign to help us navigate this crazy sea of software that we are in. All right? Thank you so much for being here. In the words of Rabbi Isaac Hamler, go out and do something good and something nice for someone today. In the words of Rabbi Isaac Hamler, Have affection for a fellow. Hashem will have affection for you. Do a kindness for a fellow. Hashem will do a kindness for you. Draw a fellow close. Hashem will draw you close to him. Be the reason someone smiles. Have a great and glorious day, and I will see you, God willing, tomorrow. Don't forget to count your Omer tonight. Last night we counted 26, so you count one more. All right? See you later.
Bring them home, bring them home. We've been praying for so long, so Abba, please bring them home. Bring them home, please bring them home. We've been praying for so long, so Abba, please bring them home. We're coming home, we're almost home.